is our first replay of the day. We are taking a look at a Conte di Cavour, which is the Tier 5 Italian battleship submitted by Tanis. Tanis, why did you submit this replay?
I think it's the best replay I've had in this ship, but I think there's still stuff I could learn from it because we lost.
Gotcha. Cavour it makes it sound like when I'm coughing. Yeah. I see it. I get you. She's rough. At Tier 5, she doesn't really get much that accentuates the Italian battleship line, other than the fact that she has SAP shells instead of HE shells. That's characteristic of the line of Italian battleships. The big thing is it doesn't get the exhaust smoke until Tier 8 with the Vittorio Veneto. Up until that, in my opinion, the line is a bit of pain, okay? The SAP is pretty good. It absolutely slaps destroyers if you got SAP on it. The AP punishes broadside cruisers and battleships quite nicely, but your bread and butter is mostly going to be SAP because it just doesn't really care about angling. If something is angling towards you, you aim higher to try to pen the deck, armor, or the superstructure, and you get wild damage numbers from that. So, it's okay. But it's Tier 5, so at a certain point you get through it and then you move forward. That's true. It does have a 360-degree rotating turret, so that is true. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get to your build then. Your build, currently, you don't have any of these modules. Is that because you're trying to save credits?
Ran out of money.
Yeah, so you're trying to save credits. Okay, so for one, you're in a Tier 5. You've got... And so here's how I would handle this. And I think this is a good comment for any player who's newer to the game and like you, grinding up a lot of ships. It's very easy to run out of credits in this game, especially if you don't have premium time. If you have premium ships, and I know you've got at least the Brandenburg, what I would do in your boat is when I run out of credits, like here, for example, I would stop playing the tech tree ship and I would transition to playing primarily the premium ships that you've got. Okay, get one win in every premium ship,
and then another part of my logic is below like Tier 7 I just don't bother putting the things on because the amount of advantage it gives me isn't worth the cost.
I disagree there.
With this soon anyway.
Yes and no, but see, here's the thing. You look at it this way: as these things cost credits, right? And credits are farmable. XP, in a sense, is not so farmable. I mean, you play the game, you're going to get XP, but you get more XP if you get wins or if you perform better. So the way I look at it is you farm the credits to upgrade the slots so that you do better. So that's how I would look at it. I don't like the idea of gimping yourself just because you don't think it's going to be as important. Flags I can see you not choosing to run with, but here I would absolutely put fill these slots. You know, even if you're going to sell the ship at some point, and by the way, I wouldn't sell anything lower than a 5. You know, you never know when you're going to need to play the ship again. So to me, I feel like you just buy them and be done with it and leave it at that. So that's how I would do it, is I would just do the, premium ships till I get the credits and then continue my grind. And when I get to the Doria for you, for example, okay, once again, go back to premium ships, get the credits. And the nice thing about that, by the way, is you're also training up commanders. And again, for newer players, I think that's actually really important too. So there's no rush. You know what I mean? Might also try to do some tasks on test server Friday, Saturdays. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, you get some good credits that way. Not just new players who've been playing since 2018, you're often running out of credits. Fair enough, Emnote, fair enough. All right. Most of us are hitting credits issues if we put them on every... Well, yes, but the point I'm getting at, Darlith, is if you've got premium ships, then use those premium ships to get the credits. And like I said, you don't have to, like, every day log in and play every single boat. You can, draw it out a bit. Common for new players to sell lower tier. I did too. I used to sell so many ships, Gaelic. I used to sell so many. If you need to sell a ship, by the way, you always go with the lowest tier ships in your port because those are the cheapest to buy back. Okay, anyway.
I mean, yeah, I just kind of sell everything once I'm done with it because I don't have the support slots last I checked.
Right, exactly. Now, by the way, if you are looking to save on credits, you don't have to buy necessarily the range module. That's one that some people also, in addition to not buying slots, choose to not buy. It saves you XP that you also have to earn too, so you get through the line quicker. A lot of people do that when they regrind ships. So, anyway, Captain Skills, you've gone with Gun Feeder, Turret Traverse, and Adrenaline Rush. Okay, so switching between SAP and AP is very important, so Gun Feeder makes sense. Turret Traverse, especially at lower tiers, makes perfect sense. And Adrenaline Rush, sure, why not? Okay, let's get to the replay. Problem with fives is oftentimes you can run into either a matchmaking like this. This is really good matchmaking for you, by the way. Or you run into where you're bottom tier in a tier 7 game and you just get steel clubbed to all hell.
Yep.
And another reason why I think having those, spending on those modules really helps at tier 5 because it can somewhat at least level that playing field. Events that reward you for the number of ships in port makes selling tech tree ships a bad move. Come on, game. One module you not skip is B torps on. Oh, yes. Anything that extends the range is definitely worth doing.
God, yeah, because for a lot of things, the torpedo range is just painfully short.
Yep.
You need like 10 for it to become usable.
Well, yeah, Hatsuharu, you go from 6 kilometer to 10. Massive jump in capabilities. All right, so anyway, matchmaking, you're in a tier 4 and 5 game. What's fun about this is, as you can see, Wargaming brings in a lot of bots. So to fill up the matchmaker, which means that you've got really good opportunities for getting medals in the game, right? Krakens are easier, so to speak, because there's just so many more bots, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Rob. Shaska says a lot of bots can make it risky if you rush in there. True, very true. All right, so you are moving forward, and you're gonna defend the cap. Looks like, yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Okay. You locked on the New York, unlocked, and then fired. I don't know if you noticed that. And I would absolutely be.
I was trying to hit the Kuma.
You were, but then you looked at the. You changed to the New York.
To the New York instead.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I would be shooting the Wakeful here, by the way. Forget the New York for right now. Shoot the Wakeful. I don't know if that's bot or not. It doesn't matter. Because in my opinion, in bot games especially, the destroyers are the bigger threats because their torpedoes just take so many ships out of the game. And your sap absolutely obliterates, just pulverizes destroyers.
Yeah, he's gonna be gone in a second.
Yep, I see you've decided to change targets. Good. And yeah, see, he's gonna kill the Karlsruhe now. Yep. So for example, if you had been shooting him earlier, perhaps that would have been different. And you had mentioned this as a loss, and hey, you just never know if that could have been what did it. So you're doing a lot of hunting for targets here. I would be going for the Dunedin next because that's a cruiser. The way I look at it is destroyers first, then cruisers, and then battleships last. You might have been in favor of not mounting something different, thinking things like main battery mod. Yeah, main battery, I suppose, is maybe not. I still feel like if you're in a tier 7 game, main battery mod is really important because you're up against up to 406mm guns, right? Maybe even some higher at this point in the game now.
There was a while where I was getting overmatched.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But main battery mod helps to keep those turrets alive, which, I mean, that's your only option in a tier 7 game for doing damage, so. Nice job slowing down and turning here. See, that's the thing. You can, anticipate the bots and the torps and stuff like that, but the other bots can't, or just choose not to. Where are you aiming?
I don't know.
It's a lot of sunk credits, Darlith, this is true. but it's also nice. It's also, in my opinion at least, more time that you can use to, you know, play your premium boats and grind up your captains. There's absolutely no rush in this game. There really isn't. Maybe a few missions that require certain ships, but too much turning here, in my opinion.
No, I did it on purpose because I checked the leaderboard and Queen Mary has torpedoes and I didn't want to get hit.
Queen Mary does not have torpedoes, does she? She does. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. I forgot. Yeah, she's the battle cruiser line. What's up, FBB? The joys of Sapidels, absolutely. And that's kind of the point I'm making, Rating. If you're playing the game for a long time, you know, 500k sucks, but you'll get it back. I made so many decisions because I needed credits, and I needed credits now, so I went to JG Wentworth, and I felt bad about it afterwards. Ooh, Galicia, yes. Now you are broadside to the Peter Village.
12 health, and I was so mad about it.
Well, there he is. That's the life of Battleship. I do like that you're turning though, realizing the problem. You got a Minikaze coming your way too, and that's a player Minikaze. The DCP there. See, for example, that might have been a turret that didn't get knocked out. That could have saved you from using your... And you're making a big mistake here. You're expecting this guy to die. Don't ever expect somebody to die until you've killed it completely, until you know he's gone.
Yep.
Switch to SAP, there you go. Yep, see, and you still missed him.
And then I can't do anything anymore.
Well, you gotta focus on the Minikaze. He's definitely the bigger threat. Yeah, now, he wasn't firing at you, and that's usually the best signal that he's torpedoing. You can absolutely sell stock modules. That's a good point, Seabear. Alright, Cavour did a nice job of ducking behind cover. Community tokens. Cavour shooting AP. Once you got Texas and thought it would be a game changer, quite hard to hit because the accuracy. Oh, Texas is such a pain. I'm not a fan of Texas, really. That was, you know, New York and Texas are just so frustrating to play. Okay, your heal's coming up. I like that you've got a teammate to... Now, I would be thinking about helping your teammate on the Peter Velicky over there, instead of worrying about this Cavour that's turning away and running. Also, watch the New York in the middle. You're gonna come up broadside to this New York. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little late on the heel too, by the way. Very important use, especially with your hit point pool right now. Very important you get your heal up as soon as possible. Keep looking towards the Galicia. If he gets himself spotted, he can wreck him. There he is, there he is, there he is, there he is. Look at him, look at him, look at him. You're not even looking. Don't look at me even when I played randoms. Battleships are hard to play, especially in the mid to low tiers, just because you feel like you can do all this stuff and be like, you know, the shizzle on the battlefield. And you have moments like this where you get the Confederate and high caliber and you feel really good about yourself. But torpedo destroyers are huge, huge problems. And cruisers that spam HE and set you on fire are also a bit of a problem at the lower tiers. And as a battleship, your accuracy and a lot of times range just suck. But hey, look, we got ourselves a death pick. Let's go. Yeah, checking with RNG before anything. The only time you don't have to is when you play Destroyer, right, Rainy? I mean, there is no dud torpedoes with, like, say, Minikaze. If torpedoes are gonna hit, they're gonna hit. That's it. So, that's, to me, the one big difference here. Exactly, FPP. Very much at the mercy. Cruisers as well, but the thing is, cruisers have the higher rate of fire, so they can kind of get away with that a little bit. So, close battle. I think the big thing, for me would have been stay down by your cap. Especially when you're low on ships like this, Tanis, you sailing away from your teammate is bad. You got to go and work with your teammate. You identify one ship at a time to kill. Like I would have gone for the Peter Velicki there. And while you're killing him, guess what? The Galicia or New York will be coming next, right? And then when you finish that, you go on to whatever presents itself. Because at the low tiers, that's typically what happens. You get ships that just keep feeding when they think they're gonna win, and they engage the throw maneuver. LOL, they rammed. It was a good game. It's a good learning opportunity, frankly. Personal max damage and which ship, I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, Alshaska. Other than the Enterprise D and the Star Trek mission, I had over 1 million damage. Whether you consider that to be, you know, worthy of whatever or not, it's up to you. Came in first place, very nice. I have not played the new destroyers yet, Hardcase, because, well, I don't know. I just haven't. Too many other missions to do. Let's put the replay render up, and then if you guys have any ideas for titles, feel free to share. Tanis, any other questions? Anything you want to discuss?
Not really.
Okay.
I can think of it right now, at least.
You're kind of waiting to play them too. I know Raptor was playing them on stream last week, and he seemed to have a good time playing them. Kind of personal opinion for me when there are ships that come out on early access. I'm not a big fan of shelling out. Even, you know, I've got a wealth of doubloons. I just don't like spending them so that I can test ships, because that's what you're doing when you're doing early access. Anything you're testing and providing feedback to the devs. So I just don't like doing that. Gesturing to your face? Pasta references be difficult this morning. Yeah, I don't know either. Spaghettified? See right here, for example, I'm going to pause the render for a sec, Tanis. This is the part here. Like if you're looking at the situation, right? It's you, the Peter Velicki, and Furtaka. Furtaka's got a Cavour and a destroyer, and the New York is heading this way. This is your perfect time, perfect opportunity to break off from that chase and like either turn hard left right now to shoot the Peter Velicki and his broadside, or turn right so that you can like make a full turn. I'm not sure how close to the island you were, if you could have cleared the left. I would have made the left, because if you can get on the Peter Velicki's broadside and wreck him, then what happens is the Galicia comes forward, gets himself spotted. Either one of you guys kills him with 12 HP. New York probably continues heading over to Furtaka. Cavour kills Furtaka with New York and Nicholas, and then it becomes a 2-on-3, which is still winnable. You know, if you get the right shots and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Best to wait for new tech tree shifts personally. See some stuff on how CCs are playing them. Make some better informed decisions before grinding the line. I'm going to grind the line anyway. It's just, I don't want to spend doubloons to do it. So I will gladly wait until it gets released. No, but this is a good example, though, of, especially in lower tier battles, how easy it is to honestly make an impact if you're willing to work with somebody else and form a buddy system. So, All right. Well, Tanis, thank you very much for submitting that first replay for today. That was a lot of fun to look at, and I hope I gave you some good feedback.